So welcome everyone. This is the Flintolabs Student Demo Day. And before we start, I just wanted to kind of, start off with an icebreaker, like, as folks are trickling in, something for us to warm up. So use the QR code in here, or you can also use a link that we'll have in the chat shortly, and something that you can use too. But I would love to understand what's top of mind right now, right? How do you one word for how you feel about AI right now? So let's just do a quick warm up, and I'm going to switch to see here. That's helpful. Dangerously powerful. Love it. Yeah. Love this. So, cautious optimism, advancing neutral, opportunity. Befuddled. That's a first I've heard about.
Yeah, I'm looking that word up.
So I think that you can see the whole range in here, right? Like you have love and you have cautious optimism and neutral in between and dangerously powerful on the other end. So there's a whole range even in this room. So that's kind of like the whole point of like, tonight and like what we're kind of looking at and like, looking towards the more positive end of like what we have. But this is really exciting. Thank you everyone for indulging. I'll wait maybe a couple more seconds if folks want to have other words. It's really powerful. Yeah. Exciting is a good word too. I think I can relate to that. Um, but yeah, I wanted to kind of uh, start off by telling a little bit about like what we are, who we are. So to start with a proper welcome, I'm Janani, the CEO and co-founder of Flintolabs, and I have Aisha here, who's my co-founder and CTO. And Flintolabs is the pre-college AI residency for middle and high school students. And our mission is to spark curiosity in students to make them go from being consumers of AI to being more innovative builders. And we'll actually have an alumni join us who just got into UNC Chapel Hill later tonight. We'll hear a little bit more from him. But why is AI important, right? We've actually seen that AI is becoming more of a table stakes in every industry and discipline that we go to. It's not just for technology anymore. And the one thing that Aisha and I have like learned over the last year is that it really reduces the friction that you can use to bring your creativity to life. You will see that today with all of our demos. And that's what we use AI for. We utilize AI to empower students to transition from consumers to become builders and creators. In at Flinto Labs, our students use real tools. They work alongside an industry mentor. They build real projects and kind of build up that portfolio that really helps them towards their college admissions, but also kind of building that real experience throughout the path. We have a 6-month journey. They start off with foundations, go through an advanced mastery. They have a couple of months of startup school, a mini MBA, which, where most of our students have actually built their apps that they're going to be demoing today, going through a real entrepreneurship experience, and then culminating in an AI residency where they work in a real AI workplace with AI coworkers, again, advised by industry mentors. Apart from all of the different program outcomes and impact that we call out here, I think the thing that I would love to highlight is our students can also earn college credit, up to 3 credits through CU Denver for the 6-month program that they work on. And all of this happens along with schoolwork. So it's 1 week every week, 1 hour every week. So that's all that you put in. So with that, I want to kind of, without further ado, move over to the people that are going to make today's session great, our judges. Thank you so much, each of you, for making time to come here and watch the demos and provide your feedback. Each of these judges come in from a unique perspective, so you're going to get feedback from a unique lens from each of them. So, judges, I would love for you to go ahead and introduce yourself, like 30 seconds of like who you are, and also one piece of advice for someone building their first product. And Amanda, if you have a mic issue, like maybe you can type it and then, we can kind of voice it out for you. But Yamini, over to you.
Hi, folks. You can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Yamini Jagadisan. I support the observability teams at Meta. Observability at Meta is pretty much, where all of Meta's metrics, logs, and traces land in. So pretty much you build your code, AI or non-AI, and then you want to debug it in production. The platforms behind it are the observability platforms. That's, what I do in a nutshell. I've been at Meta for about 5 years. Prior to Meta, I spent about 15 years working for Microsoft. Janani and Aisha are very close friends of mine from undergraduate, school, and we've kept in touch over the years. I'm really excited to see the Flintolabs journey here, because long story short, over last winter, my 8-year-old and I, we tried to build an app for the first time ever. I was teaching him vibe coding, and I left him with it for about an hour. I just told him, hey, this is what you do, and I left him alone with it an hour. And the games he was able to come up was just amazing. I think combining the creative power of, a middle and high schooler with the power of AI, I think that's just going to create a lot of magic. And I'm glad that Flinto Labs is taking that step, towards helping these students, realize that potential much earlier, than even the industry is catching up. So really, really great job, guys. I'm really excited to be here. With regards to some advice I would have for you guys about building your first product, I would say, just be bold, try your ideas, even if it's a small prototype, just be bold and, just put it out there and see what sticks, right? The second piece of advice I would say is still build some of your programming fundamentals. I think AI has made code really cheap to generate, but it has not yet made production debugging easier because I support observability. I really know how much time it takes. When your app becomes really popular and you have a few million users using it, right? You're not going to actually be able to debug. You need to be able to understand what your app does, at least at a basic level. So, don't forget your programming fundamentals. But other than that, I'm so happy to be here. I know it's a lot to ask of you kids when you have so much homework to also, participate in a demo day such as today. So kudos to you guys for taking the time out. Yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you, Yamini. That's totally great advice. Arizo, why don't you go next?
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me? There's noise around me. You can hear me okay? All right, great. I am Arizu Zarafshan. I'm the founder and CEO of a technology marketplace by the name of ClefShift. My background, I come from technology, worked for HP for quite a number of years and then moved around from there. And I founded ClefShift 5 years ago. I'm the one that put the word love in terms of the one word to describe AI or how I feel about AI. I ask myself on a daily basis, how was life possible prior to AI? Because y'all can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
okay.
clear. Yeah.
There, just a second. They're vacuuming around me. I've just been in a conference, so bear with me. The piece of advice that I have for you all, the students, I am with Yamini. Be bold, put yourself out there, seek failure, actually. Try to fail, because at this age, at this stage, there's nothing to lose. And you want to put your ideas out there and try them out and see some of them fail because that's how you learn. So be bold, be brave, put yourself out there, put your ideas out there. There is very little barrier to creating anything these days. So take advantage of it. You all have the privilege of living in a very, very interesting time. And it's a great time to be a builder.
Yeah, I love that. Seek failure. I think that's the best advice that, anyone can give. Amanda, is your, okay. That's
Can
great.
you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Hey.
Okay. So, hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Hanson. I spent 12 years at the University of Colorado Boulder, Go Buffs. So I worked with students while they were trying to decide what to do with the rest of their lives. So career exploration, jobs, internships, experiential learning opportunities, shadow days, personal branding, which is, you know, your image out there on the internet and what you project to other people, and then connecting with opportunities after graduation. So I worked at the business school there. My advice is twofold now because I was having microphone problems about 10 minutes before the meeting started. And so the first one is roll with the punches. Even if you think that things are not going right on your end, the chances of somebody else noticing it are pretty small. You know, I had to figure out how to use my phone for this meeting now. It's not a big deal at all. So be prepared to make last minute changes. And then talk to as many people as you can. Meeting new people, not being nervous about talking to people, asking people for advice, just telling people about what you're doing and what you're excited about and asking them for feedback. I think that that's such a lifelong skill to be able to connect with other people and just have conversations. And I'm really proud of all of you for investing your time in this so far and looking forward to hearing from everybody soon.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And yeah, roll with the punches. You're all going to be, I mean, I think that something I want to say today, I think students, you're all in great hands, but also judges, I think you're in for a treat. Like these kids are going to blow your mind off. Yeah, I'm not partial, but I'm going to say that. Okay, so how is tonight going to work? Like we do have a few logistics. I'll keep this very quick. The first thing is a kudos wall, right? So you actually you can use the QR code in here, or you can use the link that'll be in the chat. But this is something that'll be up throughout the whole session. So I would love for all of you to throw out your kudos there, encouragement, anything out there. So we will kind of show the live Mentimeter wall sometime in between the demos, but it's like a source of encouragement for all the kids. The second is there's going to be an audience choice vote at the end of the demo session. So do watch all of the demos, intently. I think that's something that you will get to vote on. The feedback form is more for people that, if you have some idea that really piqued your curiosity, you have some contacts that they can meet or connections that you can make, you want to kind of provide more detailed feedback. So there's a QR code for a Google form that you can provide more detailed feedback in. Finally, Zoom reactions. I mean, just familiarize yourself with the Zoom reactions. I would love to see a lot of unlimited hearts and claps and celebrations. These kids work really hard and like they're presenting to a room of strangers. So let's just light their screens up, right? So if there's only two things that you kind of take from this, it's the kudos wall and the Zoom reaction. So with that, without further ado, I'm going to move on to the first demo of the evening. We have Rayhan here, Rayhan Siraj. He's an 8th grader from Fairfax, Virginia, and he found an issue that most of us realize pretty late, which is posture. He's going to talk about his AI-controlled ergonomic sensor. Over to you, Rayhan. Go ahead and share your screen, and you can take it from here.
Sure. Is it looking good? Okay. So, hello all and good evening. My name is Rayhan Siraj, an 8th grader for the 26 through 27 school year at Franklin Middle School in Fairfax, Virginia. I'm excited to present Lume, a smart wearable designed to improve posture and workplace health for professionals, students, and enterprises. Prolonged sitting is a silent epidemic. For remote workers and students, the risks are severe. Statistics show that sitting for over 7 hours a day can increase overall mortality by 5% for every extra hour. It causes chronic pain, adds stress, and ruins focus. Our solution is the Lume Pod. It's a discreet, privacy-focused wearable that straps comfortably to your back. It monitors your posture, stress, and ambient light for workplace health, delivering gentle real-time alerts like haptics or audio cues the moment unhealthy patterns begin. Under the hood, Lume uses IMUs for posture tracking, radar for breathing rates, and a heart rate sensor. It's designed for all-day comfort with a raised, sweat-free mesh strap. Most importantly, all pattern recognition is handled by on-device AI to keep your data secure. 3 things that set us apart. First, privacy. We use edge computing, so your health data stays on your device. Second, our AI overview. Lume connects the dots between your posture habits and stress levels. Third, simplicity. It's completely plug and play with no tech experience needed. We're going to move on to the demo now, and I'll screen share this. So right here is a smartphone. We'll visualize this as the pod. So I'll start push URL and connect it. So first we'll have just visualize what your street posture is, and we'll calibrate it based on that. And imagine this is strapped to your back, and if you're slouching, it will definitely know. And once you end session, there will be a main overview and an AI insight right over here. And you can save your insights as a saved session. So that about sums up our demo. I'll put this down. So let's move on to revenue models. Right now, our revenue model has 3 pillars. First is hardware. Direct sales of the Lume Pod will be our primary upfront driver. Subscriptions, a premium tier for users wanting advanced cloud-based AI analytics. Ecosystem, ongoing passive revenue from accessories like custom bands and replacement batteries. The future. We are entering a $180 billion total addressable market. At a $300 price point, we will have the potential to reach 600 million users. We will launch to remote workers first, then scale to students and enterprise wellness programs. Thank you for your time, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Rayhan. Judges, you have questions?
I have a question. Oh, can I go ahead? So my first question was, why would you start with remote workers first?
Because I think that they would be the most vulnerable to the posture thing, since their whole revenue model and like getting by in the world is by sitting down sometimes or being on a digital device. So I think that's the most important customer for us.
Awesome. Thank you. I wish I had this, by the way, to check my posture when I was working remotely. I work remotely, which is, many days in a week. The next question, sorry, then I'll pass it on to Arizo, is what sort of questions can I ask Loom about my posture? Or is it just going to like give me, is it just going to tell me, hey, something is going on and just send me an alert? Or can I ask it for, hey, what happened over the last month? Things like that. About that.
So I think that in the future, we will definitely incorporate an LLM that can answer questions based on data that's been recorded. And that's just a future feature that I didn't put in the prototype that I showcased.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Arizo?
Sorry, I was being moved. Thank you. Good job. That was a great presentation, Rayhan.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a couple of questions. One is, you indicated that this device that straps to your back can also sense the ambient light.
Yes.
Tell me how you do that.
We just have a sensor that tracks how much light is going in, and then those are on the market you can get them off the shelf. Just set in your phones.
I get that, but if this thing is fitting, under my shirt on my back, how does it sense light?
It wouldn't be under your shirt. It would be above your shirt.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The second question I have is about your total addressable market. So
yes.
You said it is $1.8 trillion. Am I correct?
180 billion.
180 billion.
Yes.
And help me with my math here. You have a $300 per unit price point.
Yes.
Am I right? And
yes.
You're expecting 600 million users. Am I correct?
Not expecting, but that's like how much we estimate could qualify for what they need.
Of that 600 million, what is the share of that market that you're planning to capture?
I think about 30% or 50%, or maybe on the lower side, 15%.
Okay, so 15 to 30%. Okay. And what do you think, who's your biggest competitor for this? Who could be your biggest competitor?
My biggest competitor could be smartwatches, especially because they're always on you and not sometimes like my device.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my biggest competitor.
And how do you plan on fighting that competition?
I plan on fighting that because smartwatches can't really measure how your spine because it's on your wrist. So I think we just go with the flow on that for different purposes. Smartwatch mainly for fitness and my pod for remote working and other
Okay.
stuff, sedentary time.
Very good. Thank you, Rayhan. Nice job.
But
This is amazing. I mean, I think that you did a really good job also answering the questions. Thank you so much, judges. Um, let's move on to the next student. And again, Amanda, did you have any questions? Sorry, before I move to the next one.
I'll wait till the next one. Yeah, the other two answered a lot of mine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So the next up, we have Mithra Chennakrishnan. She's also an eighth grader from Cary, North Carolina, and she built College Buddy, looking at, how her sibling and friends were struggling with the college application process. So Mithra, take it over. Great. We can see the slides. Mithra, we can't hear you if you're talking. Do you need a minute before should we look at someone else?
Yeah, Mitra, we're not able to hear you. It is very feeble. So maybe Jenny, should we go to someone else?
So let's do the next one, Mithra. Maybe in the meantime you can fix your computer. Okay, no worries. So I'm going to quickly switch over to Elsa. Elsa is a ninth grader from Great Neck, New York. And Elsa's idea has an interesting story. She started off with a completely different idea, found out this need through her market validation, and pivoted and built this app. So I'm going to let her do the talking. So, Elsa, why don't you take it forward?
okay.
Hi, my name is Elsa Lo, and I'm currently in eighth grade. I'm going to ninth grade next year, and this is my scheduling app called Shiftly. It's an app that uses AI-powered scheduling that's designed to make shift planning faster and smoother for both employees and their business owners. So where did Shiftly sprout from? So after sending out a validation poll asking questions to business owners about how they use AI and their struggles in their day-to-day life, an owner of a medicine practices problem caught my eye. He said that shift scheduling for him was extremely inefficient. And this is because scheduling is often difficult, time-consuming, and hard to make consistently fair to all employees. So my solution is Shiftly. It comes with many core functions. So one would be employee requests. This is, I believe, is very valuable because employees have different lives and they need different days off or they're only available for a certain amount of time. And this would allow it to be easy for them to communicate this with their owners. Another function that Shiftly has is scheduling generation. AI can very quickly mock up a schedule based on these requests, saving everyone time. Another one would be chatbot editing. Managers can make changes quickly through the AI chatbot. And finally, AI analysis. Managers can submit their past schedules and have Shiftly learn what each business's typical schedule is like. The beauty of AI is it's a learning tool. So as you continue to add more schedules and use Shiftly more, it'll learn to cater towards your business's specific preferences when scheduling. So I'm going to quickly show you some of the tools. So this is what it'll look like when you first open the app. When you create an account, it'll ask you if you're an employee or an owner slash manager. On the owner's page, you can invite employees, you can train AI with past schedules, and you can send out availability forms. Here's what it will look like when you generate the schedule with AI, and this is what it'll look like when it gives you that first mocked up draft. And right here you can see you can edit it via chat. On the employee side, you can see what it'll look like. There's a notification center that allows the employees to know when the owner sends out a poll or they publish a new schedule. You can request times off for your vacations, and you can also submit availability, and you can even edit response. I'm going to quickly show you. So I made a mock test cafe and added a couple employees just to see what it would look like. Here's where you could ask for forms from your employees. You can see everything here, what your employees have submitted. Here's where you generate. This is the draft. And here I'd really like to point out, this is what truly makes Shiftly special. You can train the AI with past schedules. So I uploaded a PDF of a couple schedules, just a couple fake ones, and the AI was able to analyze them and take note of patterns. Here I also said, we are a cafe and we need a server and cashier at all times. It learns and it gathers insights right here. And me as the owner can look through these insights, make sure they're correct. And after I save them, Shiftly will use these insights and take note of them when creating new schedules. So after looking through the demo, who would be our market opportunity? So I think business owners or managers who spend too much time figuring out scheduling and shifts would really benefit from Shiftly. This could be restaurants, retails, medical practices, salons, or even just local small business owners who need help. How will we reach them? I think we can reach them through social media content, small business connections, or even just emailing them directly. This is what our business and revenue model would look like. Our pricing model is monthly tiered subscription with 4 layers. Shiftly Basic, which is up to 5 employees for free. I think this is really important because as these small businesses scale up, we have built-in customers already. Then there's Shiftly Starter, Shiftly Team, and Shiftly Business. This would be some of our key costs. The first one being Anthropic API costs, which sends a bill monthly based on how much the AI gets used. Then marketing and customer acquisition. This would be more towards the beginning stages of when Shiftly's trying to acquire new customers using ads or flyers. Competitive analysis. So doing research, I found these two would be our main competitors. Excel spreadsheet. This is just a traditional application that many business owners already use, and it's gathered the trust of them. Deputy, this is more of an up-and-coming app. It has some AI optimization that helps the owner stay organized. But why is Shiftly different and why is it better? We don't just assist the business owners, we actually help them create the schedules. And Shiftly's unique function is it allows the owners to train the AI and make it really specific to their business and create the best schedules possible. What's next for Shiftly? So after perfecting the application's AI capabilities and implementing the pricing model, we can add more functions and ask local businesses to test. We can use feedback from the local businesses to improve on our app. Thank you.
Thank you, Elsa. Judges? Hey, Amanda, go ahead.
I have a question. Yeah. Great presentation, Elsa. My question was, does the system take into account how many hours each employee wants to work as well?
I think when the employee can actually input this information during the AI training, or when you submit past schedules, the AI will take note of how long each employee needs.
Okay, yeah, just wondering if it, if every employee wants to work full time, but that's not an option, how will it divvy those types of things out?
Mm-hmm.
That was my question.
I'm going to build on Amanda's question. By the way, Elsa, nice job. Very, very nice job. This is actually a really big need. Because I know that at the enterprise level, there are a lot of solutions, but not at the small business level. So to your point, business leaders, business owners have just Excel spreadsheet. But adding on Amanda's question, there are laws that are requiring hourly employees to take a break at a certain time, use the bathroom, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me about how AI helps the business owner stay compliant with those laws.
I think the AI, once again, it'll learn from the past schedules, but if the company hasn't used that yet, I think that's one of the important things I need to train the AI in our next steps and make sure it complies with these laws.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yamini, do you have a question? Yeah, good.
Do we have time for another question?
Yeah, quick.
Okay, all right. So, Elsa, thank you for that demo. That was awesome. The fact that you were able to, market research and arrive at, okay, this is what the small business needs. That's pretty amazing. Thank you for doing that. The quick question I had was, have you thought about a more innovative method where, as opposed to, I'm pretty sure there's a way they track that today, right? Like they track the employee salary. Is it just plain Excel sheets? Is that what you found from your research of late?
Yeah, I think a lot of small business owners, they just use Excel spreadsheet and they kind of come up with these schedules in their mind, which takes a lot of time and effort.
I see. So it's mostly Excel sheet based. Okay. And is there a way we could upload that Excel sheet to your LLM to be able to train that so that, it already has a sense of, the employee schedules and can predict, what a future, good schedule looks like without the employees having to, add to that? Is that something that you have considered?
Yeah, the owners, they can download the Excel spreadsheets that they've done in the past into a PDF, and they just submit the
Yeah.
PDF into the train AI.
Oh, that's the PDF part that you were talking
Mhm.
about. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Elsa. That was wonderful. Thank you. And thank you, judges. Let's go back to Mithra. Mithra, are you ready?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Mithra Chennakrishnan, and this is the College Buddy Support. So I've noticed that a lot of people struggle due to the difficulty of choosing a future career because there's so many colleges and options. And with that, the high college cost of college, scholarships, and acceptance concerns. And this is one I relate to myself. The information overload when comparing colleges and their requirements. I know this is real because of my survey that has shown me that many students struggle with finding the right college due to the lack of guidance and resources. So these are my survey results. And then in the first screenshot, you can see that 76% of students did struggle with finding a college for them. And then in the second screenshot you see here, a lot of students did say that the college counselor did not help. I'd like to clarify this by saying in the detailed explanation, a lot of them said they didn't have the access to one. And in the third image, a lot of people said that they did get over this issue as to be expected with a large audience, but there's also a lot of people saying that they constantly do face this issue still. My solution. So in my app, I have an AI-powered chat feature providing personalized college guidance for students, as well as an interactive quiz that works with the chat option, allowing the AI agent to provide flexible, personalized recommendations to help the student. Why now? As you know, every year there are hundreds and millions of students that go to college or going to attend college, and planning for it can be very difficult. So the use of AI can make this easier for students. And in my app, the AI agent helps provide personalized guidance to help find students the right college for them. So here's my app demo. Here's some screenshots. In the first screenshot you see here, the blue text is me. I ask a question and it provides answers, and at the bottom it provides resources and links where it pulled and gave me this answer from. And the second screenshot, you can see the survey feature. There's a total of 19 questions that are tailored to college, like career interests. You can see some of the options in this screenshot. And then the third one, this is a part of the survey. So at the very end, it curates you the best options of college and it filters out and it tells you like about what percent matches to your interests and needs. Marketing opportunities. My ideal customers are high school students ages 14 through 18 who have the overwhelming feeling by the process to find a college and the guidance. I'll reach them through social media promotions, posters, school partnerships, sharing the idea with friends and family, and promoting our local events and fundraisers. My business and revenue model. My pricing will be a subscription-based payment with different tiers, with the baseline of $99 per month. My key cost in my app will be building it, marketing materials, and improving the app in the future. I would say my app stands out for being affordable and providing personalized guidance to students that need to find a college that best suits their interests and needs. I would say that my application compared to others is flexible with the two options with the chat and the survey feature. I built this using V0 and later used Cursor for the bigger features. I also used ChatGPT and Gemini to refine my prompts. What's next? What feedback did you receive so far? To create an easy app with tools that can help students a lot and keeping it affordable and accessible for everyone to use. Do I want to continue working on this? The answer will always be yes. This is something I see myself also using in the future, and I want to provide others with tools to grow and succeed as well. What do you need to continue building this? I need advancing technology and a better understanding of users' needs and support to continue improving my app and adding new features. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mithra. And I'm guessing, Amanda, you're going to have a question because this is very close to what you do. So I'll start it off.
Correct. Yes, great job. Okay, so my first question is, who pays the $9.99 a month?
So that would be the customers that start going off of like want to upgrade from the the free subscription, and want to have like more options to use the app.
So it would be the individual students?
Yes.
Got it. Have you thought at all about using having colleges and universities advertise within the platform, or do you think that that would take away some of, the students really getting the choice in the matter?
So I would say that it would be kind of both. The students do get to pick, but I would like to in the future, if it's very successful, to get other colleges to advertise so I can promote it to more students.
Great. Thank you. Good job.
Yamini and Rizu.
Okay, I can go. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mithra, for this demo. I think this is a wonderful idea to have, kind of a college counselor, like side buddy that you can chat with, to understand if you're getting the required guidance. This is pretty cool. My question was, since this is targeting high school students, right? Is this app supposed to give them a path to help them with, hey, these are my grades for the year, this is what my interests are, and kind of and then help them with how would they actually build a portfolio for an aspirational college? Or is it going to tell them, based on what you have right now and what your aspirations are, these are the aspirational college, these are the colleges you should be applying to? So I wasn't sure which how this app was going to, help the students directly. Could you help clarify that, please?
So basically, you would give it like all your scores and stuff that you received in high school and all your like interests and preferences for a specific college, and it would recommend you colleges that you could apply for based off
I
of
see.
your opinions.
I see, I see, I see, I see. And if I say, okay, you know what, these are my list of college, but this is the college I would love to, this is my dream college, would it be able to tune and tell me, hey, you may want to consider taking these electives, or, you may want to consider doing something here, right, to be able to boost your chances. Have you considered, doing a reverse analysis of your score to help you, kind of direct you to the right college? Have you thought about that?
I think that'll be something I'll start building on the future.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Mithra.
Areza?
Nice job, Mitra. I actually have a 14-year-old boy, and I went on your app and I started searching for what would be the right college for him. And I realized that your app is not there yet, but it's a very, very useful solution that you have built. A couple of questions. One is about your business model. So you have a monthly charge of $9.99 per student, right?
Yep.
And the student, buys it and then they pick their college. And then what happens? You lose that student. So with that, have you considered, again, building on Amanda's thought, working with universities to reverse the business model? Because universities always have fresh students. You lose this student, you get more students from the next batch. Have you considered that?
I have. That's like my main idea to make a profit. I know for a fact that eventually students at one point will stop using it, but there's always the opportunity that more students who are in high school will new batch of students will use this app and continue to grow the profit.
Yeah, I think that that's something just worth considering because I love your idea. I think it's highly, highly useful. I'll be your customer. I need this app, and I'll happily pay for it until I find a college for my son, and then I'm gone. So, nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mithra. That was really, really nice. And thanks for presenting your app and answering all the questions. So now we're going to I'm going to shift gears a little bit. So I wanted to kind of introduce Tanish Pai, who is an alumnus of Flintolabs, and he just got admitted into UNC Chapel Hill this year, one of the top 5 public universities in the country. When he was with Flintolabs, he built and shipped an app, but also, did an internship with us working on advanced blockchain residency. So I wanted to kind of congratulate Tanish, use this opportunity for that. And he's here with us today. Welcome, Tanish. I wanted to have you talk a couple of words about what the Flintolabs journey was like for you. Can you share a little bit about it?
Yeah, thank you so much. Just checking, you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. And thanks for your dedication. He kind of stepped out of a party to kind of, talk to us. So thank you.
Of course, no worries. Well, first off, I want to say thank you to, of course, Ms. Jenny and Ms. Aisha for giving me the opportunity to speak today, and also for all the guidance they've given me these past 2 or 3 years. They definitely were one of my biggest inspirations in getting into the AI space and working on blockchain, which is what I'll be doing at Chapel Hill for the next 4 years. Talking a little bit about Flinto Labs, I obviously came in not knowing a little bit more than how ChatGPT works. Obviously, I put my prompt in, like, what is the square root of 256 per se, and then I get an answer out of it. But more than that, I didn't really understand how ChatGPT works. I came in as one of the first students, and I believe it was the first batch. And I was able to learn the basics of AI, get into how that works, and then we went a long way after that, talking into blockchain and things like how the basics of blockchain work and how they can be or how applicable it is in society today. Obviously, blockchain is definitely going to be a very big part of the next generation of finance, which I hope to capitalize on as I'm going into a very complex job network. And one of the big parts that Flintolabs has emphasized is that the job market is changing, and it's very important for each and every person to get the experience before they even go into college, because they won't be able to get startup internships or even get the chance to work a campus job per se because of the lack of experience they have. And I've already been able to apply the experience that I've gotten from Frontal Labs in my real life in getting a summer job. And I hope to continue doing that throughout my time at college. And a little bit of advice for the students who presented today. Obviously, I was not here to listen to your pitches, but I will be getting the video from Ms. Jenny or Ms. Aisha as this video is recorded. I would say, as your journey in Frontal Labs has just started, make sure to keep in contact with these two. They are very, very knowledgeable, and obviously the professionals in the room here. Thank you so much for being here. I know each and every one of the students appreciates your hard work and your kindness in being able to give us the time and effort that you have. But I would just say keep in touch with all the people who are in this session, and obviously my LinkedIn will be somewhere around the area here. So if you ever need me, I'm here for you guys too. So thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tanish. And, for the students, Tanish has agreed to kind of do a session on some of his tips and tricks for getting ready for the college app process and all of that. So I'm going to still take you up on that offer, Tanish. I'm sure it'll be
Absolutely.
useful. And thank you so much for being here. I will share the video with you. So yeah, you can go back to your, celebration too. But thanks for being here. And I think one of the things that Tanish mentioned here is really important. That's why we have like people like Arezu and Yamini and Amanda here. We are kind of working with more of these industry professionals, because right now the gap between what is in the school system for education versus what's in the workforce is kind of apart. And so we do need to kind of build that bridge. And that's kind of what we want to kind of do with Flintolabs. But thank you so much, Tanish. And again, a round of applause or like virtual claps for Tanish for his achievement. And we can't be any prouder, and we can't wait to see what you achieve in Chapel Hill. See you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And obviously, you guys are doing such great work. So congratulations to all of the students in this batch, and good luck for your future endeavors.
Thank you. Okay, so with this, I want to go back into our demos. So next up is Sanaya Verma. She's a 10th grader, next year's 10th grader from Sammamish, Washington. And you're going to be really excited to hear about her pitch. So I'm going to let her take from here.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen. Next. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Sanaya Verma, and I'm the founder of Braille Board Systems. Today, I'm excited to walk you through how we have combined smart software, computer vision, and audio dictation to completely change the assistive education experience for visually impaired users. So let's look at the problem. In our world today, 295 million people are affected by visual impairments. Out of these, 90% are children from low-income areas. Now, typing is an essential literacy skill, yet existing Braille tools are prohibitively expensive. The Braille Board changes that. We offer a high-quality Braille embossed keyboard with integrated audio software using a standard webcam. Here's a little bit about the behind the scenes of this entire process. So Braille blind users currently, when they use their Braille keyboard, they are not able to receive the proper feedback. They're not able to hear what they're typing. And so if they're typing something incorrectly, they might not know immediately. Similarly, their hand placement on the keyboard is very important. So they might not be able to perfect that before they start typing. And that is why we have developed our Braille Board software. So let's jump into the features. So our software tracks typing through computer vision. So using a standard webcam, we track a 21-point skeleton version of the user's hand. We specifically isolate landmark 8, which is known as the tip of the index finger. And tracking this single point locally with sub 10 millisecond processing, we are able to track each key the user presses in real time. Moving on to our AR feature. So our computer vision feature simply sees the fingers, but our AR system actively overlays digital rules over the physical keyboard. It creates an invisible or data-driven safety box over the user's keyboard. For example, if a child is typing and their hands drift 15% past the safety box margin, a guide voice will speak up and alert the user to move their hand right back to the home row position. Now, to prevent users from being overwhelmed with these constant alerts, we've also enabled this 4-second cooldown buffer, which keeps a gap between those notifications. Okay, so moving on to our A dictation. So when a key press is verified, our core audio engine processes text through 3 distinct layers. Our most important layer is our word layer, which is triggered by a spacebar, and it reads out every word the user types. For our beginners, we have our character layer, which reads aloud each character the user presses based on each keystroke. And finally, we have our sentence layer, which is for our more advanced users, and it's triggered by a punctuation mark, for example, the period, the exclamation mark, or the question mark, and it reads aloud each sentence the user presses or types. Learning should not be lonely, and that is exactly why we have developed the Leaderboard app and community platform, which engages our users and improves their literacy skills through gaming. And moving on to our financial projection, given our cost of goods sold price of $32 and our selling price of the Braille Board of $99, we maintain a huge profit margin of 67%. And along with our monthly subscription for the community platform, which is $5, we're on track for a year 3 revenue goal of $2.5 million. So let's dive into the demo. I'll quickly stop sharing the screen. Hopefully you can see this properly. Okay, so this is my application on the browser. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So on the right, we have our dictation component, and on the left, we have our camera tracking software. So to start the dictation, I can enable either the letter, word, or sentence feature, or I can enable multiple at a time. So for this demo, I'm going to enable the word feature first. If I type in a word, for example, cat, and press the space bar, it would read aloud that word. Oh, sorry, the volume was off. Let me try this again. The D-O-G.
Dog.
Another example, I can do that again.
Rat.
Yeah. So this is how the word feature works. Now, if we want to read aloud each character, we can also enable the letters. Yeah.
C. A. T. Cat.
Now we've noticed that each character of the word cat was read aloud as well as the entire word once a spacebar was pressed. And if we just engage with the sentence feature, we can type an entire sentence and it would be read aloud. So if I press the period, it would trigger the read aloud of the entire sentence.
Cat, dog, bat, cat. My name is Sanaya.
Okay. So this was the dictation component of our application. Now let's move on to our camera tracking software. So I can start that component by clicking the active workspace tracking. So it turns on the camera, and the first thing it shows you is the safety box outline, which is our AR feature. We can
Looking too far left.
Okay, so we can change the size of our outline here. If I think this size is the most comfortable. And once I show my hand, it shows neon indicators marking the 21 points on my hand. If I drift my hand past the safety box margins,
Drifting too far left.
it triggers a guide voice.
Hands too high. Return to home row.
So it tells me to move my hands back to the position which is correctly placed on the keyboard, or back to the home row. So that marks the end of my demo, and I'll just recap. So our dictation software, the primary purpose is to provide feedback for our blind users. So to ensure that they're typing correctly and they know what they're typing. They're aware of what key they're pressing and what word is being typed on the screen. Our second component is our camera tracking software, to ensure that our blind users know where their keyboard space is and they're aware of their surroundings. So if their hand does drift, they can immediately go back to their starting position. And combining these two components, we have completely changed the learning experience for our blind users, making it much more easier for them to learn and continue to improve their literacy skills in the future. So thank you.
That is amazing, Sanaya. And I know you didn't mention that, but do you want to tell the judges a little bit of like what inspired you to do this, like observing
Yeah.
your friend?
Of course. So one of my classmates I had during middle school, she was visually impaired and she did have severe blindness. So she had a lot of assistive Braille tools when she learned in our classroom. And they weren't small tools, they were pretty big. You know, you had a big computer, you had your packets and packets of Braille translated paper printed out. And she would pull the computer closer to her face so that she could correctly read the words. And I felt that that wasn't very efficient, especially in her learning and her school environment. So I wanted to develop this keyboard, which follows the same structure as a QWERTY keyboard, so she can work in different environments as well. But she also has that AI assist. So she knows what she's typing, and the dictation makes it much easier for her to receive feedback. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sanaya. Yeah, over to you, judges.
I just have a quick and probably not at all important question. Can you change the voice?
Yes, so that's probably one of our future steps. For this prototype, I just had like the standard voice. It was loud, it's clear, I just used it. But I think it would be really fun for students to, like record their voice too and hear it as the feedback. So yeah, that would be like a fun, engaging feature for this application.
Yeah, and I was thinking with, people, that speak multiple languages, maybe they might like different dialects or those types of things as well. So great job.
Thank you.
Yamini, go ahead.
Yeah. I had a comment. I think Janani, me and Aisha, we actually worked in Microsoft for many years. And one of the proudest moments at all times was when we built accessibility features for Windows. Because, Microsoft always targeted a section of the audience that was ignored by most enterprises, most companies, right? And when Satya Nadella came in, one of the big things he would always, encourage is, hey, let's build accessibility, right? Because this is an audience we want to get to. And it's great that, you identified that opportunity, ahead of anybody else. This is amazing. I had two questions. One was, have you had your friend or, friends try this out? What sort of feedback have you received? About this tech, about how to take this forward. I almost was expecting you to have that keyboard in place, by the way, given how advanced the demo was. I was almost, hoping that you have that keyboard hardware in place.
Yeah, I actually had a 3D printed prototype. So it's obviously not working, but I would love to do that in the future. To answer your first question, so Janani ma'am's colleague, Mr. Hassan, he's in Istanbul right now, and I was able to speak to him about this idea. And so he gave me a lot of feedback on how the tracking software and hand gestures are heavily contributing to the improvement and learning experience of visually impaired users. So I was able to test it out with him, and he definitely had a lot of feedback, but he also had some encouragement on the hand gestures part of it and how the dictation is really helpful when learning. But
fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have Arezu before we move to Ruben. Did you have a question?
Hi, yeah, I did. Hi, how are you doing?
Go ahead. Yeah, hey, Ruben.
So my question is, have you thought about how you might handle backspaces and how the person might be able to keep track of what word they're typing? Because I know like when I'm using a password and my password is hidden and I type like half my password and I forget where I am, it's really confusing to know where to start. So I'm just curious if you've thought about that a lot at all.
Yeah, of course. I actually didn't show it in the demo, but I do have that backspace feature as well. So I'll just turn my screen over again. And let me just refresh. Yeah. Okay, so if I have like all three features enabled and I type like C-A-Z on accident, I can give
Deleted Z.
backspace, and it will tell me which character I backspace, and then I can type the correct thing.
G. Cat.
It's in all the features would work the same. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. I mean, this is just mind blowing. I told you, judges, that you're going to be mind blown. So we're going to go to the next demo just because of time, and then we will kind of look at the wall. Okay. So next up we have. Oh, really. So next up we have Mathumitaa Chennakrishnan, and she built something because she's a musician herself in the school band. And I think for folks that know about, writing sheet music for different instruments, changing the scale is a problem. So that's what she found as an issue, and she wrote an app for it. Madhu, do you want to take it over from here?
Yes, just give me a second. Okay, sorry. So my app is called ClefShift, and before we start that, I thought I should introduce myself. My name is Mathumitaa Chennakrishnan. I'm a rising sophomore at Green Level High School. I've been in band since 6th grade, so almost 4 years, and I've been playing bassoon for almost 3 years, since I was in 7th grade. So essentially what ClefShift is, it's like a tool that allows you to change clefs. A clef is like basically like a key to like assign each note like a pitch. So for me, this would be an F because I read bass clef because bassoon. There are 3 main types of clefs. There is treble clef for high voices like flute, trumpet, and violin. Alto clef for instruments like viola, and bass clef for bassoons, tubas, and double bass. So for me, our band teacher has this assignment called chamber, which is essentially where you and like a small group have to like perform something. It was a really weird instrumentation, and I found finding music for us was like really difficult. It was 3 bassoons and 1 oboe. And every time we did find music, like one part would always be like kind of off. So we would have to like hand transpose it. And I volunteered to hand transpose it, and I figured out that it took a really, really long time, and it was also super difficult. It wasn't hard, but it was like tedious. I made a lot of mistakes too, and like it was exhausting and draining. I remember being in my English class and like trying my best to finish transposing as much as I could, and it was really frustrating because like I feel like it took more time than it needed to. So I had like a fake scenario. Like imagine you're like a trombone player, like someone who reads in bass clef, so like a lower voice. Instead of like trying to find trombone music, you can like take flute music, which is reads in treble, and just transpose it, and then automatically be able to read it. So when I looked for apps that did do auto transposing, I found it really difficult to find any. And the ones I did find were like kind of expensive. They weren't very free. So I want to make my app like accessible and free for everyone to use. I also think our tool is pretty simple. Like the most amount of work you need to do is take your PDF and make it into a music XML. So fortunately my demo kind of crashed last second. So I'll just explain how to do it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your PDF into like and make it into a music XML. You don't need to do that step if your like sheet musics are already in the format. All you need to do is upload your music in this section, and then you get to pick which clef you want to change it into. After it says the music is ready, all you need to do is re-download it. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. Always personal problems, personal challenges make for the best apps. Over to you, judges. Any questions for Madhu? Amanda?
Great job. I was in band in the middle school and high school. I was a flute player, so it was fun to see this. And I hope you stick with it. It's a really important way to meet people and to learn. But my question is, did you say that this is going to be a free app?
Yeah, I kind of want to make it free, and if I had to like make it like a subscription thing, I would make it like the first 15 uses would be like free, and then after that it would be like maybe like $2 per like transposition.
So if you had to sell it, who would your target customer be?
I feel like anyone who like plays an instrument, because like there's like so many cool things you could play, and I really don't want to be like blocked with like clefs and like not being able to read music properly.
Got it. Great job. Thank you.
Arizu?
Good job, Mathu. And I am so glad to hear that your app crashed. This is what I was talking about earlier, that you're seeing these issues early on. My question also was very similar to Amanda's, is what's your business model? The $2 that you're thinking about charging, is it per use or is it per month? Tell me what you're thinking about when it comes to revenue generation.
Because I feel like it would be like more efficient to do it like per use, at least from like a user standpoint. Because like a monthly subscription for like something like this in my opinion, feels kind of useless because you're not going to be using it like every day. So it would probably be like $2 or $3 per use.
Okay, thank you.
Yamini?
Sorry, I think my audio was off. I didn't have a question particularly. I just wanted to pass on some kudos to the simplicity of this idea, right? What Madhu's done is taken an everyday problem that she was struggling with. She was like, hey, this is a pain. How can I make this better? And just and just built an app to do that, right? And now she's just offering it out and seeing what's out there, who else would want to do it, and building a business model going forward. I think this is pretty amazing. When I even saw that, I did see the slides ahead of time, and I was like blown away by the simplicity of the idea and the fact that you were able to implement it. I think you should put it out there and see what sticks. Maybe many band players would want this, even from your own school or a set of schools, right? So I'd love to see this, published, not just as a demo, but just as a real thing, and see what users think. So thank you, Madhu. That was great.
Very well said, Yamini. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Madhu. Yeah. No, very well said. I think like that's really important that you look at a challenge around you and don't just stop at looking at it as a challenge, but think of solving it. And I think that's something that all of these students do really well. So thanks for calling that out. Okay, now on to our last but not least demo. I mean, this is going to be so next up we have Arav Bajoria. He's from grade 10 from South Brunswick, New Jersey, and he's built Folio, a personal stock portfolio tracker. A lot of us, I know didn't know stock at this age, but then you're going to be seeing his demo on how the app really makes it easy for us to manage it. Over to you, Arav.
Thank you. So this is my, I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Arav. I'm a sophomore in high school. I'm really interested in technology, investing, and building projects that solve real-world problems. In my free time, I like working on apps and exploring new ideas in business and coding. So I created Folio. Folio is an app I built for teen investors who want to track all their stocks in one place. It shows total gains and losses in a simple dashboard. I made it because most teens don't have an easy way to see how their investments are actually doing. So this is a problem. Right now, teen investors usually use multiple apps like Robinhood or Cash App, and the problem is that none of them can show your full portfolio and give helpful advice. That makes it really hard to track performance, and it can even lead to many mistakes. So this is how I validated it was a problem. I asked many classmates and family who invest and how they track their stocks, and many use multiple apps. They feel it's confusing and very systematic, and I have built a very much easier way. I saw the same issue mentioned on Reddit, which confirmed that it was a really big problem, and this is why I wanted to make a beginner-friendly version. So Folio fixes this by putting everything into one dashboard. You can instantly see your gains, losses, and overall performance. And I also added an investing tip section, so this helps beginners learn while they invest. So I'm gonna give a quick demo. Uh, this is Folio. So you can add a stock, which stock you purchased, number of shares you purchased for, and the average stock buy price. And here on the top of the dashboard, you can see your total portfolio value along with how much you gained or lost today. And there's also performance charts that shows how your portfolio is doing over time. On the right side, you can see a watch list of stocks you're tracking and a breakdown of how much money is split across all your different stocks. And this is the bottom. On the bottom, you can see each of your individual holdings, how much each stock is worth, how much is going up or down, and there's a market mover section that shows the biggest gainers and losers of the day. And at the bottom, this is the unique feature I added. So this unique feature it also helps you learn. It doesn't just track your stocks. These tips are written in very simple language, so beginners can understand key ideas like diversification and long-term investing. And there's also a learn more section if students want to go deeper into any topic. So as you can see, this app is very smooth and very easy to use. So this is a market opportunity. My target users are students ages to 15 to 22 who are just starting to invest. I plan to reach them to social media, investing clubs, and word of mouth. And the target market the US market for young investors is valued about $4.5 billion. And this continues to grow as students and more teens start investing earlier. And my goal is to capture about 10% of this early stage student investor market over time using social media and other. So this is the business model. So Folio is free to use, so anyone can start using it right away. But I also have a pro version where it's $499 a month, and this gives extra features like price alerts, unlimited stocks, and syncing across many devices. So this way, the basic app stays free, but people who are very advanced and want more options can upgrade if they want more features. So unlike other apps or spreadsheets, Folio combines tracking, automatic calculations, and education into one simple platform made for beginners. So I built this using Folio, using Vercel, using Leo Dev, and I connected Alpha Vantage, live stock data, and I deployed it on Vercel so anyone can access it online. So this is my next steps. So I want to test it with real users and gain feedback. And I plan to keep on working on this and adding features like stock news and crypto to Folio to make it more advanced and more beneficial. So thank you for listening to my presentation. That's Folio, a simple way for teen investors to track their stocks and make better decisions. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Arav. I love the flying dollar bill, Amanda. That's a great reaction. Okay, over to the judges. Questions. And Arav, if your video works, you can turn it on for the Q&A.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Go ahead, Yamini.
Hey, Arav. Fantastic idea. Stocks obviously are in everybody's mind, and the addressable market of teens. I love that. You were going to go after teens. Could you help me understand what is the market differentiator between your app and a regular app like Robinhood or any of the existing apps in the market for teenagers, and for your target audience specifically?
Yeah, especially for teenagers, they don't want any like advanced app that has multiple like options. Or I saw my app; it was very smooth. It's all in one smooth page. It also has in the bottom you saw a section that said like helpful tools, like what you should do based on what you've invested in. And I feel like that helps students learn and gives them better way what to invest in or how they should like investor market and how they want to like go on in the future and how they want to do it.
I see. Okay. Have you considered connecting to existing sites like Robinhood or others, to be able to pull that data that exists already? Have you thought about that? Or this is just going to be a from scratch? We've got to enter our portfolio of whatever we've invested in. Like, have you thought about that?
I feel like that's like a very good thing about connecting it to Robinhood. I definitely thought about that, but yeah, I feel like that's like more in the future. More like we want to first like get just to testers and see how it's really working and see if like the API integration is working properly and anything. If anybody has any other like issues, but that's definitely in the future. We definitely can consider that.
Thank you, Arav. Thanks. Great job.
Arisa?
I was just gonna suggest the same thing that Yamini just suggested, connecting to Robinhood, because and then I know that you're not looking at high volume investors, but in investing, as you know, seconds matter. Like you track the price of a stock and you see that it's going down and you're ready to strike it. And then if you have to like go and log into Robinhood and trade, that's just going to cost you money. So connecting it to Robinhood is a brilliant idea and good job. This was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Thank you.
Oh,
Any other questions?
Yeah, Amanda?
I just had one quick idea for you. First off, the fact that you're even thinking about this or that teens are investing these days is just phenomenal. It's something that I never thought about at that age. I'm trying to think about like differentiators for you and with your generation, I'm wondering if there would be an option to donate to causes that they're passionate about. Perhaps some of the money that they've earned on the app, pennies could go towards different nonprofits or those types of things. And I think that that's something that could differentiate you and get teens more interested in that type of app than the one their parents use.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I'll definitely think about that in the future.
Oh, that is that's great, Arav. Thank you so much for presenting the app. I love the clean UI too. I mean, it's sometimes easy to kind of have that nice flowing UI to understand. And with that, we come to the end of the demo. So we're gonna do a couple of things. So I'm gonna have the kudos wall here. I want to, we can all walk through that. Meanwhile, we're gonna create a breakout room for the judges, and then we will kind of come back to it. So if you haven't taken a moment to send out the kudos yet, like this is your time to kind of do it. Go ahead and go ahead and spend some time on that. Meanwhile, judges, I'm just going to assign you to the breakout room so you can actually have the conversation there, and then we can bring you back. Give me a minute. Okay. Do you see the breakout? Okay. It's like there. Love the feedback that's coming in here. Let's take just a few seconds and then I'm going to open up the audience choice vote pick, right? Everyone can vote and then we'll move on to that. I love the comments in here. Great job, everyone. And I think that the composure with which you all responded to the questions, kudos, special kudos to all of you on that. You did a really good job. I can use this app too, Arav. I totally agree with that. And I love the reality in your crashing, the app crashing, Madhu. Okay, so I'm going to open up the poll for the voter audience choice award. You should see that come up soon. And just take a moment and choose on who you would kind of vote for. Let's stop sharing. So how was it, students, while we wait for the judges? How was the experience? You all did an amazing job presenting. I don't know if, I know Alvina's shaking her heads too. I'm like, yeah, I just no anxiety, straight fear. Maybe you had it, but you did an amazing job.
Oh yeah, like at
Yeah.
their age, if like people were asking me questions, I don't know if I would have been able to answer it with that confidence.
Mhm. Yeah. How was the experience? Anyone?
It was really, really fun. Thank you.
That's good.
Yeah, I thought it was also really fun. I was like waiting to present because I was so excited to like share my idea.
Oh, that is so cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really fulfilling experience. I think we learned a lot from everyone's presentation and all the new ideas.
That's really nice. And I love the inch, the kind of how do I say that? Like I know you had the demo on a different computer and like showing that, and I know Rayhan had the thing. I mean, it's sometimes there are things that we learn from all of you in terms of how to be
Also,
restored. Yeah.
Madhumita, a demo not working in the last minute is like the life of tech.
Every
That happens like
'Cause, like,
every single demo, something happens.
yeah, because like usually this is like very rare, but my computer does this thing where it like freezes for a solid 5 minutes, and it's only ever happened like 3 times, and like the third time it was like at least 30 minutes before like the meeting started.
It is.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. I don't know if how many of you have Windows laptops, but I have this. It used to always start upgrading the like 5 minutes before I have to go to talk or present on stage. And so it just happens all the time. Okay. While we're having the judges come over, I just want to kind of, mention this. Everybody that presented here today is a winner, right? And it's not these are the picks are doesn't kind of mean anything because all of you work so hard. I know how much went behind all of this and how much sincerity, hardworking, discipline went behind like preparing for the demos, preparing for the slide decks, and working through all of this. And I want to also kind of let everyone know here that all of these students are advancing into our AI residencies. They're going to be kind of working on real apps, working with the industry mentors in a real AI workplace and all of that because, and everyone is a winner. So kudos to all of you. And I just want to kind of make sure that you all know that this is something that you should be extremely proud of. Presenting to a room full of strangers, preparing, like, building an app and coming up with an idea of your own. And also kind of, being able to kind of put the slide deck, talk about market research, talk about target market and all of these things, which I know many of us here can talk about, we didn't think about when we were in middle school or high school. So really want to appreciate every one of you that showed up today. So I want to kind of mention that before we get into any kind of choice awards or any of the picks. Or anything else anyone else wants to say? I mean, I know that we're waiting. You can go ahead and like mention that too. I know. Rahul, like you came off mute.
Yeah, we had dialed through different screens. So I'm gonna say through Sanaya's mic. This has been a great experience. Love the energy that you and Aisha have been bringing to their learning, and the things that Sanaya, I'm sure the entire cohort has learned in the last 6 months. It's amazing. So kudos, Jenny and Aisha.
Yeah, all to the kids. I think that, I really can't imagine the amount of work that went in along with school. So totally, totally the credit goes to all of them. Amazing. Okay, I am
I
going
mean,
to
thank you guys for having me. Like, giving me this opportunity was really like fun. Like to share Folio and like this idea and learn all these other everybody else's ideas was really interesting and cool. So thank you.
That's great, Arav. Great to hear that. And I think that, goes without saying, like the amount of discipline that you put in to kind of, build it and off the instructions and working through the problems. And I think the other thing that you've all learned is also figuring out when to ask for help, right? Which is also something that's really important to know. Yeah. Okay, we have the judges here. So I'm going to ask one of you to go ahead and announce who is the judge's pick for today.
I'll go ahead and do that. As you guys might have noticed, we took a little more time, and then Aisha had to come and pull us out of the breakout room because we had to take some time to make up our minds. Obviously, let me just begin by saying all of the demos were amazing. The amount of work put into it, the creativity, the innovation. I don't think I could have thought of any of this, back in middle school or high school. So kudos to every one of you. Every one of those demos was excellent, and I'd love to see them go to the next level, at some level, right? So let me start with, I think we have two awards because we could not make up our minds. So we're going to, reward two people today. The first award we'd like to say was for the most well-rounded demo. This would go to Sanaya for her Braille Board demo. I think we love the fact that it was closest to the market. It was, it had the most market research behind it. It was very, it just took a real world problem and applied it. And, the quality of the demo, the technology behind the demo, everything just, was amazing. So congratulations, Sanaya.
Thank you so much.
One more award. Sorry, we'll just take some time to congratulate Sanaya on this. So really great job. Let's take that, let's keep going on that, Sanaya. So congratulations.
Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
The next award, I would say, was for the best presenter. This would go to Rayhan. I think this, we were just super amazed by Rayhan's presentation, the end-to-end, the flow of the presentation, all the, the demo itself was pretty amazing. And then, everything that he went through, including answering some really tough judges' questions, we were all very impressed with the confidence of his presentation. So I would say, so congratulations, Sanaya and Rayhan. But like I said, every one of you is a winner today. So thank you. It was a pretty close call, and that's the reason we spent a lot of time on it.
That is great. Rayhan and Sanaya, how are you feeling?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, that was awesome. I really appreciate all the feedback I got, and it was really fun to present to everyone too.
That is so that thank you so much again, judges. I know it's a hard job, and so it's totally okay to kind of, have more than one pick. So thank you so much for helping call those out. And I agree, they did a really good job. And on the I want to kind of take a moment to announce the audience pick. So we had similar things, right? We had Sanaya and Rayhan, and I want to kind of it's call out another person that was close out there. That was Elsa. So I think that again, so good job, folks. So I think that it's also I think the reality of how close it is to a challenge in terms of the challenges that you have in HR tech. I know Aisha can go on and on about how literally she was telling me about this problem with healthcare shift scheduling a few months back, Elsa, before you brought this idea up. So it's it's that close to a real life challenge. So amazing. Anyway, I want to take a moment and let's do a clap, virtual or real. Congratulations, everyone, and especially to Sanaya, Rayhan, and Elsa. You all did a good job. And Madhu, Mithra, and Arav, you, like I said, everyone's a winner, and you guys did an amazing job. Just kind of standing out there, talking to a room full of strangers, answering questions from judges. I just think that this is something that you have to be absolutely proud of. So thank you for that. And with this, I just want to kind of close out. And if anyone out there, if you're kind of wondering, or if someone on YouTube that's watching it is wondering how you kind of, also be part of this, we have summer cohort spots that still open. We also have our full 6-month program that starts every month. We also wanted to kind of take a moment to say that we're launching the Flintolabs WhatsApp group today. So we want to kind of make it more global and have more have an inclusive community as part of it. So you can join using this QR code. We are going to kind of use this as a community for high school students, educators, parents to discuss anything about AI literacy, projects or college admissions, workforce readiness. I feel like we all of us bring in great ideas, and our parents here have been great supporters for us. We've also kind of tapped into all of our network from the industry. So this would be a great way for us to share ideas and bring resources together. With that, I want to congratulate each one of you that presented today, and thank you to everyone that was present here to cheer them on. This is just amazing, the amount of encouragement that goes in. I just want to kind of keep this going on and on. And do stay connected with us on Instagram, on LinkedIn. we will, you'll hear more about our demo days. We want to do this every quarter. This is something that is a celebration of all of these students and the hard work that they put in. With that, thank you so much, everyone, and have a good rest of the evening.